Good evening, everyone. I am Angelica Jimenez, your discussant for today. My topic is all about simple and compound interest. When people need to secure your funds for some purposes, one of the ways they usually resort to is borrowing. On the other hand, the person or institution which lends the money would also wish to get something in return for the use of the money. Let's take a look at this example. To buy a smartphone for her son's online class, Martina went to her neighbor Tessie and borrowed 5,000 pesos at 10% interest for 1 year. Since Martina has to pay 5,500 pesos after a year, she plans to sell rugs as an extra source of income. To understand the situation, we need to familiarize ourselves with these concepts. The debtor or maker is the person who borrows the money for any purpose. So, in this situation, Martina is the debtor or the maker. The lender is the person or institution which loans the money. In this case, it's a person. So, Tessie here is called the lender. The interest is the payment for the use of borrowed money. So, since Martina borrowed 5,000 pesos from Tessie, she paid rather 5,500 pesos. So, the interest in this case is 500 pesos. You can get it by subtracting 5,500 with 5,000. The capital or sum of money invested is called the principal. In this example, the principal is 5,000 pesos. The rate of interest, on the other hand, is a fractional part of the principal that is paid on the loan. Here, it is expressed as a percentage and it's 10%. The time or term is the number of units of the time for which the money is borrowed and for which interest is calculated. And since Martina needs to pay the loan to Tessie in 1 year, the term is 1 year. The final amount, or sometimes called maturity value, is the sum of the principal and interest, which is accumulated at a certain time. The final amount in this example is 5,500. Sometimes the principal is called the present value if the amount received with the borrower is being discussed. So, here we can call this present value because it's the amount borrowed by the borrower. Now, what is simple interest? So, simple interest, this is the interest in which only the original principal bears interest for the entire term of the loan. That is why the formula is just I equals PRT, wherein we just need to multiply the rate to the principal times the time T, which is usually expressed in number of years. Now, to get the final amount, we just need to add the P or the principal plus I, which is the interest. If you're looking for the interest and the final amount and the principal amount are given, you just need to subtract these two values from this formula. From this formula, we can also create another or an alternative solution if the interest is not yet given. So we all know that we have F equals P plus the interest, and interest has the formula PRD. By factoring the principal value, we have 1 plus RT. So in case you are looking for the final amount and the interest is not yet given, while you have the rate and the time, you can use this formula. As I mentioned a while ago, the time T is always expressed in years. So, if ever the number of months is given, you can use the formula number of months divided by 12. Let's have this example. Maymay is investing 200,000 pesos for 3 years. The interest rate is 5.4%. How much interest will Maymay earn after 3 years? Here, the invested amount is the principal in the formula, which is the 200,000 pesos. 3 years is the value of T and 5.4% is the rate. So, using the formula I equals PRT, we will have 200,000 times 5.4% times 3. So, if you're going to include the percentage symbol in your calculator, this is enough. But if you don't have a percentage symbol on your calculator, you can always transform this percentage into a decimal value. You just need to move the decimal point 2 places on the left. So, in this case, this is 0.054 by getting the value on your calculator. Later, the answer is 32,400 pesos. So, the interest that Maymay will get after 3 years is 32,400 pesos. Aside from simple interest, we also have compound interest. This is the resulting value when the interest is periodically added to the principal. In this new sum is used as the new principal for a certain number of periods. In short, the interest is computed repeatedly for a certain conversion period. Compounding or conversion period is the time between the successive interest computation. So, let M number of conversions periods for 1 year, then N total number of conversion periods for the whole investment term. So, if the conversion period is annually M is equal to 1, it's semi-annually it's 2, quarterly means M equals 4, and monthly M is equal to 12. So, if we want to get the total number of conversion periods, we just need to multiply time and the number of conversion periods M. For example, if the term is 4 years, then it's compounded annually N equal to 4 because 4 is T and 1 is the equivalence annually in M. In M, it's semi-annually, it's N equal 8 because 4 times 2 is 8. If it's compounded quarterly, M is equal to 4. Therefore, 4 times 4 is 16. And if it's compounded monthly, M is 12 times is still 4. So, 4 times 12 is 48. In a compound interest, instead of using interest rate, we use the periodic rate, which is equal to R divided by M. Here is the usual interest rate and M, we all know it is the conversion period per year. In the formula, it is easier to get the final amount first because it's just equal to P for the principal times 1 plus I, which is the periodic rate raised to N or the total number of conversion for the whole term. So, if you want to get the interest, you just need to subtract the principal from the final amount. Remember that I is equal to R over M and N is equal to T times M. So, let's have this example. Compute the amount or maturity value of a note at the end of 3 years. If the principal or face value is 80,000 pesos and the interest rate is 6% compounded semi-annually. So, a note or a banknote is a negotiable promissory note which one part can use to pay another party a specific amount of money. A banknote is payable to the bearer and the amount payable is apparent on the face value of the note. So, the maturity value here is like the final amount in a compounded interest. In this case, we just need to use the formula F equals principal times 1 plus I raised to N. The principal value here is 80,000 pesos. So, this is 80,000 times 1 plus the formula for I is R over M since the rate is 6%. I need to divide it by M. M here is semi-annually. So, This is equal to 2, so raising this to n, which is t times m. We have here, we have 3 times m, which is 2. Note that before using your calculator, you need to choose whether you will use 6% by pressing the percent symbol on your calculator or transforming 6% into 0.06, and this is an exponent, so you need to explore the exponent function of your calculator. Using your calculator, you will get the value of 95,524.810 pesos. This is now the maturity value of the banknote after 3 years compounded semi-annually. For your assessment, answer this following situation. Each situation contains 5 points each.